Hi, and welcome back to Gardog the Gamorrean Star Wars Miniatures Tutorials. In this video, I want to give you the details of a few websites I've found useful over the years to access information and resources. While you can buy a lot of the figures, stats cards and maps from various places online, and I can't help you with any magical site that sells them cheaper, I can help out with free access to lots of information, copies of stats cards, some maps and a few other bits and pieces. Firstly, the best site with lots of info is Blue Milk, which is bluemilk.com, but just make sure you spell blue with a double O rather than a U and an E. This site is dedicated solely to the Star Wars miniatures game and has an almost endless amount of information at your fingertips. You can look up various rules and terminology in the glossary tab. Special abilities and force powers, where it will show you the description shown on the card, an expanded explanation, and it'll even list the characters which have that ability. There is also a forum section under the community tab, where people have asked questions, and more experienced players have answered them. You can spend many hours going through the information that can be found on Blue Milk. This site is awesome, and it has tons of information, but there are a couple of things that you have to be aware of. The official sets stopped being produced back in 2010. Since then, a core group of experienced players have created what they called virtual sets, or V-sets. This is all great, but keep in mind that these newer characters all have their own new abilities, so it can make it a little harder to find some characters or abilities when searching, purely due to the volume. And if you go looking through the forums, just keep in mind that there isn't really a search option, so it is difficult to access questions regarding the original rules and abilities, because all of the newer abilities occupy the more recent pages. If you are trying to find if something has been discussed in the forums, I would recommend using Google to search, but narrow the search down to just the Blue Milk site like I've done in this example here. The second site I use is one called Rebel Scum, which is dedicated to all things collectible and Star Wars. While it has lots of information about collectible action figures etc., it also has a photo archive for Star Wars miniatures which includes a photo of all of the stats cards for the original sets, which you can easily download or print. Just select Photo Archive, then under Collectibles by type, select Games and finally Star Wars Miniatures. The only issue with this page is that you must know which set the character belongs to before you can access it. Some of the photos aren't the greatest, but you're getting them for free, so you can't argue too much. And the last place I want to point you towards is a shared folder on OneDrive. The address is a bit of a mouthful, so I'll include a link in the comments. It was created by someone going by the name of Swinefeld. I don't know who they are, or where they are from, but I'm forever thankful for the info they've made available to us all for free. There are many separate folders and subfolders containing various things, and you'll really just need to go through them all, but here are a couple of the more important ones. Firstly, for maps, go to the Holocron folder and then select Maps. They are stored under the name of the creator. There might be the odd official map in there, but most of them aren't, although some of them are of such an awesome quality, you wouldn't know they weren't an official map, like this one. You can see in these photos that I've printed it out over a number of pages and then joined them together using clear tape, and it is still pretty good. I assume you could take it somewhere and have it printed on a single large piece of thicker paper, but I have no idea how much that would cost. Whatever you do, just make sure that when you print them out, they are 1 inch, or 25.4mm squares. They can be a little larger if you like, but definitely can't be any smaller. You can also access stats cards here as well, under Holocron and Card Archive. Once again, you will need to know which set the character belongs to before you can access it, but you can look that up on Blue Milk. I've found the quality of these scanned cards better than Rebel Scum, but they have both the front and the back of the card saved as a single image. It just depends if you want to muck around cropping the picture or not. You can get copies of the rulebooks and other official resources by going to the WOTC archive. And the last thing I want to highlight on this OneDrive page is also in the WOTC archive, and that is scenarios. While the Star Wars Miniatures game is technically designed for the two opposing players to create their own squads, choose a map and just try to defeat all of the other players' characters, there are a number of clever people out there who have created specific scenarios for us to play. Some of them recreate scenes from the movies, cartoons or books. Some take an idea from one of the movies, but then go off in a what-if type of thing. And some of them are totally made up by the individual creator. These scenarios often have characters starting in positions other than at the edge of the map. Some introduce special rules, or add extra abilities to certain characters, and while some stick with the idea of defeating the opposition, a large number of them have other ways of winning by achieving a particular goal. Thanks for watching, and hope you'll join me again for the last video in this series, where I'll give you everything you need to play an introductory game without having to spend too much time or effort, or any money, to see if you like it.